and good morning everyone. Welcome to my channel, and today I am filming my day in the life of an in-home therapist. So I am just starting out with packing up my food. I have already packed my lunch the night before, so I was just packing my breakfast is what I call it, because that's what I eat in the morning. Looks like it's some lactation cookies that I had left over from when I was breastfeeding, and a Kind bar and vitamin water. I'm not a morning person at all, so I just am not going to get up earlier to make breakfast for myself, which is not great. I understand that as a counselor, self-care is important, but I mean, it's just something I'm working on. I used to be a dialysis technician, and I would work at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and I'm just not a morning person, so oh well. So I was just double checking there that I packed my daughter's food for the day. My husband was working a later shift that day, so he stayed home with her in the morning, and then my mom comes in the afternoon to watch her for the rest of the day. This particular day I was working a 10-hour day, so I believe at this point it was around 8:30 in the morning, and I was planning to work from 9 to 7:30 that day. Sometimes it's a little bit later than that, but that's basically what it usually is, 3 days a week for me. And like I said, I was a dialysis technician before, so a 10-hour shift is no big deal. Okay, so my car is a huge mess, and this is the second part of being an in-home therapist, is that you have basically a bunch of toys and art supplies in your car at all times, because it's just easier sometimes than putting it in your office. So I am on my way to work, and I'll see you later.
Okay. Hey guys, so I am at work, and I think me and one or two other people are here. We're kind of rotating in the office, but anyways, I'm in the office every day that I work, not every day that I work. I'm in the office 3 days a week, and then I work from home on Fridays for a few hours. I'm on a 32-hour a week schedule because of childcare, and that's how it goes. So basically what I do in the office, because I'm not sure if I can record in there too much, is I just spend my day charting documentation. I have meetings today. I have a meeting with our social work and legal team, and that is where we just basically staff cases and things like that. And what that means is people call us and they are like, I need help filing for guardianship, and then the team just talks. So we have 2 lawyers, and we have me as a therapist, and then 2 social workers, and then we talk about how should we help them, basically things like that. And then if they're interested in therapy for the child, then that's where I come in. But anyways, so we talk about that, and then I have a meeting later on with one of the social workers. We're planning our support group for the year, so that's that. And then I have a phone call with a therapist from another organization who I think we have, I know we have a child in common that we're both seeing, so I just wanted to consult with her. And I'm just going to document, and then I'm going to go to my therapy sessions for the evening. I think I also have a call with a caregiver today too. So yeah, pretty busy day as far as meetings go. But yeah, that's how I spend my day in the office. I mean, honestly, I could probably do it from home, and most in-home therapists do not work in an office space. I worked from another organization before this one, and the in-home therapists, they didn't have an office space. They just worked, from home for charting, and then, or if they needed to come into the office, they had a communal space that they can chart in if they needed to. And then for therapy, they were in the home. But I think the difference is there, you didn't have to, you were only paid for the sessions that you had. You were not paid for your documentation or anything like that. You were paid for travel and for the therapy session. So as far as where you go to chart, our supervisor didn't care about that, because you have to chart in order to get paid, so whatever. Whereas here, I'm paid for everything that I do. So I think the reason that I have to be in the office is that she knows that I'm doing the things that I said I'm doing. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but it kind of makes sense from an executive director standpoint, I suppose, because if you're paying somebody through grants, you want to make sure they're doing the work. But I mean, on the other hand, you can just look at my notes, I guess, but she's not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the way it is here. I go into the office, I do my work. I also actually kind of like being in the office, do my clinical documentation too, because I don't have to worry about bringing client files home or anything. And then there's a whole HIPAA thing of where do you keep the files? How do you keep them safe and locked up and this and that? I don't have to worry about any of that if I only do my charting in the office, which is supposed to be HIPAA compliant anyway. So yeah, it just saves me the headache. But anyways, enough talking, let's go.
So a little bit more on documentation. I do some documentation at home, but what I mean to say is that I don't have to bring client files home. I don't write down notes when I'm in therapy sessions so much, because basically in grad school you're taught not to do that. In my clinical internship, I was really taught not to do that. It just increases your liability, I guess. I mean, I might jot like a thing or two, like a word or two down to help trigger a memory, but I do write documentation at home. I just don't bring any client notes or client identifying information to my house, if that makes sense. So yeah, all that stuff I keep in the office, and then I just kind of chart from the very brief notes that I jotted down randomly or memory. So I do try and write my case notes the night that I finish my therapy sessions, just because it's fresh in my brain. Either that or the next morning in the office, I will do them. All right, so here I am in my cubicle. I know it looks crazy, but it is a nonprofit, and we have lots of donations, and that's what it is. So I'm here talking to a coworker who's telling me some news here. I'm not going to share her personal information, but she's just telling me some news. But it did remind me of like self-care and how we have to really take care of ourselves, especially in this field where I'm a trauma counselor, for crying out loud. I only work when, terrible things happen to kids. So I mean, in this work, it's just, you just have to take care of yourself. Whether you're a clinician or not, it's just still a lot. So here I am clearly reading something. I usually start the day with checking my emails. Then I do some case notes, which is probably what I'm doing here because it looks like I'm thinking pretty deeply. And then, someone's interrupting me. That is the life of we have an open office space, and basically anybody can just interrupt you at any time. So that's the life of that. All right, so I am getting ready for our team meeting we have every week. And it's just me, the lawyers, and the social workers talking about cases and what we're going to do, what our plans are, and any updates with our cases. I'm meeting with them virtually because I believe it was just me and one other social worker in the office that day. Everybody else was working remotely, so that's what I'm doing. So I had I also had my e-meetings, my phone calls, all that. I did not record that. I am on my way out of the office now, obviously, and I am going to my first therapy session of the night. I believe I had 2 sessions this day, and my sessions usually run long because I don't have to bill insurance companies. So I get to actually focus on the therapeutic process and treating the client, and I don't have to worry about, I have to keep it 45 minutes for billing.
Okay, so it is around 3 something, and I am needing to go to a therapy session. I have at 3:45, and then I have another one at 5. The one at 3:45 is in person, in home. The other one is virtual, so I'll be working from my home office for that one. and I'll end my day with documentation. I skipped lunch today by accident. The day got away from me, honestly. Like, I was in a meeting, 2 meetings this morning. One of them went way longer than I thought that it would go. And it was a positive meeting. It wasn't like terrible or anything like that. It's just that I lost track of time and completely forgot to eat. So let me know if that happens to you, because it happens to me quite often. I have to, like, especially if I'm doing something that I'm excited about or that's interesting to me, then I just completely forget to eat food. So I'm gonna try and snack on my lunch as I'm driving. I know that's probably not the safest thing, but I really don't want to be late for the session, because that pushes my next session back late, which will then give me less time for documentation tonight, or I'll have to work late, which I don't want to do because I already work late enough as it is, because I only work 32 hours a week, so I cram 10 hours into my days that I work. So all right, that being said, I have to go. See you later. Okay, so I'm here at my therapy session in the parking lot. So I'm gonna do some sand tray work, I think, with this kiddo, and so I'm going to bring my kinetic sand that is in the trunk of my car, and I'll check in with you later. Bye. Okay, so I am back home now. I did a therapy session in the person's home, and then I came home to my home office and I did a session here. So basically my home office is actually upstairs, but I also sometimes go in this living room area because there's a closed door here that I can slide open and close when I want to, and then I can just put a sound machine outside. Plus it's right next to the garage, which makes it easier for me to, when I'm running, you know, on a tight schedule, then I don't have to run upstairs. I can just come right in from the garage out of my car and sit down on the couch and do a session, a virtual session. And then this is where I basically spend the rest of my night until about 7:30 doing documentation. So I finished my sessions, and now I'm doing documentation at home. Like I said, I try to get them done within 24 to 48 hours. Usually I get them done on the same day or the very next morning, which is a good thing. Usually people, I mean, most companies have policies on when you need to get your documentation done, especially because they can pile up and it gets away from you and it's terrible. So I was saying earlier that I don't document from home. What I mean by that is I don't do like treatment plans and things like that from home. Anything where I have to bring a lot of client information here, home I don't do. But if it's a simple case note or a clinical note, then I will document from home because I don't need anything from that other than my brain. So yeah, I'm wrapped myself in a blanket because I'm freezing for some reason, and I'm just ended my night. So I end with documentation. I also do some support group work. Like I said, I help lead a support group, so I write the curriculum for it, do a lot of the research for it, and figure out who's going to say what or facilitate which parts as part of the prep work for the support group. And then there's just some regular administrative things I have to do for work. But yeah, that little book hanging over my head is just my dissertation, which seems very thin compared to other people's dissertations, but oh well. I just got straight to the point. Anyways, that is my day in the life video of an in-home therapist. I work for a nonprofit organization, like I mentioned, so this may not be an all-encompassing day in the life. Some people's days in the life may look differently, but this is what mine looks like. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you would like to see more content, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.